I remember I was watching something from I was watching one of Angriest Pat's stream, um, and he was talking about how he thinks that The Last Airbender is the worst movie ever made, and
I wouldn't like disagree entirely.
well, his and it's funny because he mentions he saw the movie before he saw the show, and he's just like, man, this is a pile of garbage. I hate this. And then he watches the show, and then he watches the movie again, and he's like, oh my god, I hate this!
It's like, I mean, there are movies that are more shoddily made, of course.
Curse of the Swamp Creature.
But it's like, it's the fact that that so much was put into something that was a license of another thing.
Well, it's not just that. It was all just explanation.
It was
all just exterior dialogue from what's her fuck.
It was presumptuous of like, yeah, we know how the story goes. Here's the story. You don't really need all of the extra stuff. That's just fluff.
Why did he reverse the races? That's what I don't understand.
I didn't notice that until it was brought up. And I was like,
he just it was they had a racial theming in Avatar.
They did
in the initial show, and then he just flips that around and says,
"Nope,
no, we're going to make the main character and his tribe the whitest motherfuckers you ever seen."
Wait, no. We're gonna make the two main characters of the Water Tribe.
We're going to make
white as fuck. While the rest of the Water Tribe was Inuit.
Oh my god! Oh my god! And then Ank's teacher was Aang.
Yeah, they didn't do a good job with the names.
Right, they named him. My name's Aang.
My name is Aang.
Aang.
Soka, I think they called him. And then there was another one. Iro.
I don't know all I literally know is Aang and Korra, so.
Okay.
But, because I haven't seen the show yet.
Yeah.
Well, I saw, first 3 episodes. And the first 3 episodes, granted, I was a kid at the time and didn't really give things as much of a chance as I do now.
Mm-hmm.
But I just felt like the beginning is slow.
Sure.
Which Avatar fans have agreed on me with.
Yeah.
So I just need.
But you gave One Piece a chance.
I did.
And look where you are now.
And look where Mia is.
Look where is Silas.
But here's the thing, though, is that I was older when I gave One Piece a second chance.
That's true.
And now
Avatar's
I'm going to give Avatar another chance. I just need it to get on my radar somehow.
Yeah.
Through getting a DVD, Netflix, Crunchyroll.
They wouldn't be on Crunchyroll.
No, I know. But
I mean,
I just need it in my I need it in my sights.
You need I think if you ended up getting a DVD box set, that'd be really helpful.
Mm-hmm. And
because if you didn't like it, then you can just take it to Great Wall or something.
Right. Well, I try not to do that with a lot of things because I don't like Zombieland, but I still got Zombieland in there.
Well, you didn't like Zombieland. I forgot about that.
Okay. I didn't.
To be fair,
hate it.
I haven't seen it in a long time, and I saw it when I was in high school.
I didn't hate it. It's just very upfront and anticlimactic.
Okay.
It's just hey, we were with this guy, and we're not with this guy.
I might as well get this out of the way now. I've seen Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Don't know if you're planning on seeing it. I will tell you right now. It's kind of predictable, but it's still a really fun movie.
So I've heard.
I think I'm gonna say that the Guardians movies are my favorites out of the Marvel Universe movies.
That's a fair thing to say.
And you know why? It's because they feel the most.
They feel fun.
And I'm not saying this the other Marvel Universe movies haven't done this.
Say it.
I feel like they are the most designed movies that translate as comic books to movies. I feel like
yes.
I feel like the Guardians movies really do feel like comic books turning into movies.
Well, I argue that the reason for that is because the reason why the Guardians of the Galaxy works so well is because James Gunn was able to create a tangible sort of wacky universe that, like, he makes the universes, like, I'd say, it's hard to explain. He makes the universe feel more fluid.
Mm-hmm.
He makes the intergalactic, like, federation and whatnot,
like the whole
feel
thing.
more fluid.
Yeah.
It's not just one specific setting. It's a collision of the entire universe.
Of the universe.
Of the universe in itself.
Yeah, good.
And
good.
it's not just oh, now we're on Valhalla, now we're on Earth.
Uh-huh.
It's a webbing of different planets.
Right.
And you've got a consistency while also being inclusive of the sort of quirkiness of having such a range to work with.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he's basically conquered that aspect to it.
Right.
As opposed to Avengers, which has to take place on Earth every single time.
Yeah.
And like Thor, where they jump between
Asgard and
Earth. Shit ass Asgard and Earth. I don't like Asgard.
I get you.
It's just Mount Olympus. It's just Mount Olympus.
With feather hat. With like wing hats.
With wing hats. Exactly. I don't, like, while I see the Norse influence with the people, I don't see it in the structure at all.
Mm-hmm.
It all looks very, like, Roman in its design, as opposed to Nordic.
I see.
Like, you don't see any real, like, influence of the fact that they have a frickin' pantheon. Other than, hey, he's a king. That's the end of it. He's got a throne and an army. That's fucking it.
Well, I mean, you gotta remember, like, I think the idea behind Asgard, and I don't know if this is supposed to be what the Marvel Cinematic Universe is going for, or if this was something that was consistent in the comics as well. I think they're treating Asgard not as, like, a god, like a place of gods. They're still considered aliens. They're still considered otherworlders.
Well, it depends on which canon you're going for. See, a worm just appeared. Worms are
those worms are fucking badass.
They're like, you might as well put a Y where the O is.
Yeah.
Effectively. But no, as far as the common theme to Asgard goes when it comes to Marvel Comics, it tends to sort of, it's a lot more down to earth than what the movies suggest.
Okay.
The Marvel movies, as far as the comics I've read, like, the only one that stands out to my mind is Asgard in the 2099 series. And, like, the thing with Asgard is that it doesn't, and the reason why I'm inclusive, I consider that sort of the example is because even though it's supposed to take place in the future, Asgard doesn't really change its technology. It reaches, like, its technology isn't commonly used. A lot of the people, like, they sort of created a sort of Nordic style, like, it's basically, the people are able to live the Nordic style, live, like, traditional working. They're very traditional in that way where it's like, but the pantheon is the only one who's able to utilize magic in full.
I see.
The government is the only one who essentially controls the what goes in, what goes out on the Rainbow Bridge or appear from the fucking sky. Like, they're the ones in charge of that. With that exception, they have virtually no technology. And that is sort of true for the for Asgard in it, but you can easily see, oh, we've got floating ships and bullshit, and magical weaponized
bullshit.
magical scientific bullshit.
I get you. I actually have to
take a call
real quick.
God, okay.
I apologize.
It's
Can we pause both of these?
No, I'll carry on without you.
All right,
because that adds a whole workdoll to me.
Well, you can actually do that.
I can stall for time. Go take your phone call.
Yeah.
Damn, boy. And Mr. Fancy Pants over here with his goddamn Morty phone. Why don't you just get on out of here with your phone, Morty? Oh. These burps, I got extremely burpy. I got extremely gassy after he left. I don't know why. Maybe I was holding it back for him. I'm not so merciful. You can't do that to me, Silas said. But no, I didn't like the very sort of, it felt very plain, the Asgard, like just generic sci-fi fantasy. It's one of those things where it's just like, you know, even like a high schooler could sort of just come up off the cuff Asgard. There isn't any real complexity to its design. There isn't really anything too unique about it. Asgard, Marvel. Okay. I'm trying to get some specific examples from the onlines, from the online web internet that is consistent there. Like, okay, here's another good example. There is the Valhalla in the initial Marvel comics. It's cold. There's cold shit everywhere. It looks like someplace that belongs in a it looks like it's the initial like Nordic environment. Like, why would Vikings want to settle in a place that's fucking warm, that has beaches and looks like a fucking resort? And you know, while I can see like them trying to while I can see them taking, like, I'm looking at direct comparisons right now. It's a little too majestic as far as the exterior goes. And that's another weird thing I want to bring up. When it comes to the backdrop in the movies, like, holy shit, you can just see how fucking fake, like, the comparison, like, when you go into, like, the actual scene, like, you're able to see, hey, that's not there, hey, that's not there, that's not what this area looks like from the outside. Because once you take a look at it from the outside, it looks fucking nothing like it does on the inside. At least from what I've seen from Dark World and the original Thor movie. Like, none of that. I don't see all these grandiose towers. I don't see all these complex building shapes that look genuinely confusing. And, you know, maybe they have their way of going through these buildings and being able to organize them to their heads. But there isn't any real, like, you don't see any of that, like, up close. It's all, like, more or less hypothetical. And also, Valhalla, like, not Valhalla, Asgard in the fucking original, like, it has very wide bridges, it has Nordic architecture, it's got big faces on the sides of its buildings, it's got monuments to warriors, and it's got, like, runes, it's got genuine runes on their buildings in this. And when you look at the Marvel ones, like, I'm looking at both right now, you maybe see, like, there's maybe, like, one building that slightly resembles a person. And, you know, that's sort of, even that's a bit of a reach. Like, it's too sci-fi cross fantasy. It's too It's too Final Fantasy-esque for me. And by that I mean like Final Fantasy 13 like style. It just does not work for the theme that's trying to set up for. And yeah, the people are a bit more traditional. I think I made the mistake of suggesting that that the comic version was more traditional as far as the people go, but I'm starting to see more of the futuristic style. When it comes to the comic books, maybe it was just a 2099 version that I was thinking of. But no, it looks like I'm seeing mountains, I'm seeing snow, I'm seeing a blend of architecture and environment. I don't see that with the Marvel alternative. With the Marvel alternative, it's just like, this is a place with trees, with the occasional tree and garden, and there's no mountains anywhere. It's just this fucking utopia. It's nothing special. It feels like a place that should have been in Jupiter Rising. That's how fucking like. That's how fucking. It feels lazy. It feels like every single pseudo fantasy sci-fi area that's ever been. Like, you could have put that exact setting in, I don't know, fucking Insurgents, and I wouldn't have known the difference. I wouldn't have recognized it. I wouldn't have said, "Hey, that's the place from Thor." I would have never guessed that was a place from Thor. Like, when you show me that on its own, I don't think that's Asgard. When it comes to the movie, I don't think this is what I think of when I think of Vikings. When I think of the Nordic way, I don't see that. I see that a bit more. I see that a lot more with certain shots when it comes to like when it comes to the comic book shots. Like, let's see, New Asgard. I think that was the one that I think New Asgard is the one from 2099, where it's just like, hey, we've got Pegasi. Everything looks like it's dedicated to the gods, but it's also, while being technologically stable, it also still has that Nordic tradition to it. It's not just this bullshit sci-fi area. It's not just one big menacing tower BS. But oh man, I'm seeing more of this, and I'm just thinking, yeah, no, this looks a lot better than what's in the movie. This looks a lot like I'm seeing more buildings that are traditionalist, that have like hold on, does the movie have rounded things? No, of course it doesn't. Why would it? Because there's no fucking snow! Why are there no fucking snow in a fucking place where everybody is supposed to be wearing like armor and fucking fur? I mean, that's the roots of Nordic civilization, and you're telling me that it was all just bullshit? I don't think it was all bullshit. I think it was ingrained into the culture. And, I'm not sure as far as Marvel's sources go. I think, like, Odin may have traveled to Earth at one point. I'm not 100% sure. You know what? Let's look it up. Let's look that shit up. Because, I mean, at least the Marvel's Hercules, at least they had never experienced fucking Earth before. I'm just trying to figure out, like, let's see, Allfather Odin. Let's see, here we go. Valfather Wotan. Okay. Origin. Born after Buri. Several reincarnation. Okay, so they're reincarnates. His origin is shrouded in mystery. Of course it fucking is. Of course! Of course, they wouldn't want to explain the coincidence. Let's see. At some point, Odin went to Ashen, created human. Hey, welcome back!
Coincidences? What about coincidences?
Coincidences?
I heard the word coincidence mentioned.
No, I was talking about how like I'm reading up on like Odin because I was just looking at a side by side comparison of the Marvel of the movie
Versus the comic
versus the comic version of Asgard, and I think you'll be able to see what I'm fucking talking about.
Sure, sure.
Because like I just tried to explain it to the audience here. To the non-audience that actually doesn't exist because nobody watches.
Drinking carbonation. There we go. That's how we do it.
That's how we do. That's America. We drink carbonite.
Carbonation.
Hey now, girl, it's